I met a gypsy.
Like, okay, the direction you want to go with the podcast, or what direction you think it's going. Because I remember last time we chatted, it was quite cool because I remember like it started to pick up this bit of momentum, and now I really feel like that momentum's like really got going. And I want to know, because I we're saying like it can kind of, with a job, no matter if it's a good job or a bad job, it can kind of trap you in a certain way of just like being always in the studio, always doing this. But it's almost though you need to have that freedom to go out and then actually like experience something to then like come back, like bring that back. It's almost like you need to go out, get some experience doing something new, and then come back and be able to share that.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. So like the podcast is big in terms of like the numbers. It's like millions of people now, which is fucking ridiculous.
Is it insane just even saying that?
It is, but it's just like...
Because it's been a steady growth of like...
Well, it's more that you just can't even quantify it. Like, again, it's like what we're saying about COVID. Like, you can't fathom those numbers, right?
Yeah.
So if you do like an episode of the podcast and it gets 300,000 listens just online in like a week, right?
Yeah.
Which that's like a dig an episode.
Yep.
It's like, that is 6 Suncorp stadiums of people.
Yeah.
Can't...
Imagine thinking about that. Like, imagine that being in a stadium that big with that many people, just like a Taylor Swift concert or something like that, and you're sitting in the middle of that.
Yeah, just us two.
Doing this.
Yeah.
And there's just a massive microphone and people are like, ooh, what are they going to say? Like, that's literally...
It'd be the weirdest experience ever.
Yeah.
But so, like, you... yeah, I mean, it's just like you can't really comprehend it. And the weird thing too is that, and I think I've spoken about that before, but like if you're Aerosmith or Metallica and you're like playing Soundwave and there's 100,000 people there, you're the fucking man. You're up on stage, everyone's underneath you, they're looking up at you, you've got the microphone, you can feel that. There's none of that.
Yeah.
You know, like you just do this and you sit in a room, it's the same room you come to every day. It's the most like normal thing ever. So to experience...
Then you fill 3 stadiums.
Yeah, and then it's like you fill 6 fucking stadiums. You know what I mean? And then it's just that you can't really like comprehend. But I think it's a cool thing because you detach from it. Like if I had to, like, let's say that was how it worked, right? So like you go in and the studio is on like a stadium floor, and then every day that you record the podcast, like 60,000 people pile in, and they listen to you. You couldn't help but be affected by that.
Oh, for
like,
sure.
You'd feel fucking weird and different. And like you'd feel the energy, and so that's why I think podcasts are so rad, is because it's just like
it's very personal,
that disconnect.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that I've started to think about, which is like, a lot of people that would have a podcast this size wouldn't do the work that I do on the podcast in terms of like I was saying to you, when we sit down and just do it, that's like there's like an art there. It's just like this flow of conversation. It's just like this natural kind of thing that we're doing. We're producing it together, and it's like more artistic. Yeah. And then as soon as you step out from this room and then you go into the editing room, it just becomes like a commodity. Yeah. You're just trying to maximize the earning potential, maximize the people that see it, maximize like the places that it go. So there's like a weird switch that you sort of have to do. And like, you know, you look at as like a Sam Harris or something like that. He gets up, he does his recording, and then he gets up, and then he walks out the door. Yeah. And then he goes and does his thing. And then he's got a team of people that do all the editing, they do all the posting, they do like everything. The only hands-on thing he has to do is just the podcast. And then the rest of his time gets spent doing, you know, all of the other things. He's a writer, he does this, he does that. And then, you know, you think of a guy like Rogan, and it's like Rogan comes in, sits down, does his show, fucking leaves. Yeah. Everything gets on the internet, everything gets shared, all the invoicing gets done. So it's like, I think that's just that's probably the thing that I'm thinking of more these days is just like, I'm so in this room. Yeah. I'm just in this fucking building 7 days a week. Yeah. You know, and I'll get out and I'll ride on the weekend once, and then I'll try and get to jiu-jitsu a couple times a week, and then I'll read my books. Yeah. And it's like, that's it, you know? So, and I wonder, I'm like, fucking hell, like, is that a bad thing because you're just not experiencing that much.
I think it's like you said, it's like a stepping stone to get to that point where you can have that freedom to then obviously go and do everything you want and then just come back.
Yeah.
And like you come in here, you do it, like you have your conversation and then you can peace out and go and have like a new experience and then come back and like have I guess it's just new. It's like you're training to have better conversations by doing more life experiences.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm like, I climb this mountain, see what that's like with this random Brazilian guy. And then you come back and then you chat to someone, it's like, yeah, I was just in Brazil climbing this mountain. And like it adds more to that.
Yeah.
But I think like you say now, it's like, again, it's like you're just at a point where it's like, like the grinding's still happening. But then once that gets to a point, you can just step away and be like, I can have more freedom to actually go and do the things I really want to do, and still this can still sustain itself by having, but that comes back to having like a good team around you that can obviously pick up pick up the slack and then give you the time that you need. Because it's like I said, like going on a holiday to you is like, it's not just a holiday, even if it fully is, even if you leave your phone, camera, everything, and you go on a holiday, that's giving you new experiences, then bring back. Yeah. So it's like, we're lucky in the sense that like just say I go motor riding, that is training for downhill. Yeah. So it's like that. It's like it all links into it. Like I can go for a motor ride somewhere and just have the time of my life, and that is going to have a positive effect then on my racing. So it's like we're lucky that our lifestyles kind of, the better life you have, the better you are at your job. And like I think if you can get a job where like the better, like if just the things you do anyway and you enjoy can then positively affect your job, man, like that's a wealthy lifestyle to have. Doing that.
And I wonder too though, because like I just, for whatever reason, and especially like we're gonna have a lot of different cool content coming out shortly that like we've never really done before, or we've never really shot stuff like this before and edited stuff like this before. Like there's a ton of new shit coming for Gypsy Tales that I think will just like, I think it'll change the brand for people as well. And fuck, I just don't know. I don't even know how much I would be able to step away. Because like I really enjoy, like I don't know why, but I just like making content. Like it's really fun for me. It's like there's a fun game to play with, like what will people like? Hey, can I curate people's tastes? Can I, like that is a pretty fun game in itself. And like I started saying a while ago, I did like a couple of other people's podcasts, and I'd say to people like, it's just a fun project. Like I think about myself in terms of an athlete a lot of times. Like I want to sleep real good. I want to eat real good. I want to like physically train and then, meditate and do these things. Like I'm trying to have like this peak performance because that's almost what like the business dictates, and that's what the podcast dictates. And then you want to be a really good person when you're on this side of the microphone, like interviewing people. And it's like, I feel like I have that athlete mindset towards, like this business sort of deal. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.